What's up, guys, and welcome to another Hungover podcast. Today, the topic of the show is one that we've visited before, and one that really sort of spurred this entire YouTube venture between Yvonne and I. It's called the Drunk Story Roundup. Yes, on our third episode of the podcast, Yvonne and I, did a drunk story tale session. But Yvonne is obviously not here. He's still away because he really is still away. How long can one man leave his goddamn YouTube channel? I don't know. I just don't know. But anyways, I've got my lovely girlfriend here to fill in for this podcast. Thank you, Nikki, for showing up.
What's up, guys? I live right there, so I mean, super easy commute for me to get here. Pretty chill moments. It doesn't take me much time.
Well, look, I really had to call someone in, so I called in Nikki yet again. I hope you guys are liking her. Tell us in the comment section below, or tweet at us at Gaming Hungover.
If you hate me, that's fine too. I mean, I get it.
Of course, you can tell us the hate. You can send us a hate mail at gaminghungover@gmail.com. Of course, you can also get this podcast all over the place on iTunes in audio form, on SoundCloud in audio form. It is a podcast after all. You can also get it in video form on youtube.com/hungovergaming, where we have an entire YouTube channel where we upload 3 videos per week. You guys can go check that out. We have a lot of fun playing video games. Now, Nikki, you start our podcast out, of course, also, I should say, it's really useful if someone would write us a goddamn iTunes review. Nikki, god damn it. I'm also asking the audience to...
I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah, of course you forgot. I'm so glad you forgot. Anyways,
it's been the week of classes. Give me a break. I'm sorry.
Look, anyways, you can write us an iTunes review on iTunes. It really helps with our visibility. So please go ahead and do that and leave us a 5-star review. That also helps. Now, Nikki, we start our podcast off every single week, as I'm sure you're used to now, because you've been on, this is your third one so far. 2 weeks strong. Impressive. No, this is your fourth one. Sorry.
I mean, guys, this has been a month of Nikki. Are you ready?
This is the month of Nikki. So I think Yvonne is officially replaced at this point. So get used to her. Now, Nikki, we start our podcast off every single week by asking each other, what media have you been consuming, whether it be movies, TV shows, video games, books, music, etc. I can't think of any other media at this point. And then, what did you drink last night?
Yes. Classics. Media I've been consuming.
Gaming classics.
Media I've been consuming is pretty stagnant. I'm a big fan of just listening to the same music over and over and over again until it is ingrained in my head. So I've been bouncing between Kesha's Rainbow and a combination playlist of every song existing sung by Thomas Kanoki, lead singer of Streetlight Manifesto.
Nice.
Media, like videos, movies, you would know because I watch most things with you.
Yes,
so,
this is the truth.
We're still watching Food Wars. It's still amazing. Definitely big fan. Last night we watched that sweet Princess Mononoke. Gotta love that. Otherwise, I'm just bopping around on YouTube trying to figure out what I like. Been watching a lot of Vsauce, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
You delved into his back catalog. Vsauce is again,
OG
we're telling you guys about these YouTubers that you already know about, and they definitely don't need more advertisement. Nope. But I do like Vsauce a lot because he is a science-based YouTube channel, and I am a scientist, as you guys know from last week's podcast, and perhaps many prior
you
podcasts.
Mentioned it a lot. You're kind of proud of it.
This is my job. I'm sorry. It's my job. I'm proud of what I do.
I'm teasing you. It's fine. You can have pride in your work. I'm proud of
what I do. Anyways, Vsauce he just spends a lot of time researching all of his videos, all the topics for his videos, and so he always has a lot of information, and he presents it in a way that's really palatable to the mass audiences on YouTube, as he does have something like 8 million subscribers.
I think something like that. Yeah, he's got a great flow, and the way he presents information is like impactful and concise, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you watch a 10-minute video, 20-minute video from him, and he makes you feel like you actually learned something.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And then you forget about it the next day, and you
It's
completely
true.
forgot everything
Although,
he said. But you can rewatch
I've
it.
forgotten a decent amount of what he said, except when he was talking about how leaves, when they change in the fall, the leaves that are the brightest reds and purples are actually the ones that are the most stressed, trying to change to green and stay green like they're supposed to. And I just thought that was pretty cool. The most stressed leaves are kind of the most beautiful leaves of fall. So.
Not my fault.
All right.
Fuck leaves. Anyways,
all right,
no, I'm kidding. I like leaves.
Super into leaves, obviously.
Leaves are really useful, and in fact, that's part of the reason why we're alive today.
What up, trees?
If they couldn't do that photosynthesis,
Big
we'd
shout
be
out to trees.
dead.
Trees!
Yeah, of course. We've been watching Food Wars, which is a really entertaining show. Currently on Crunchyroll. Not sure where else you can watch it. But you can start your free subscription to Crunchyroll today.
You could definitely bang out all of Food Wars with your free subscription on Crunchyroll.
What are there, 2 seasons?
I think it's like maybe 30 episodes. You could totally
sponsor
finish
us,
it.
Crunchyroll. We just sent a whole 13 other people to your fucking website.
You're welcome.
That deserves a sponsorship.
You're welcome.
God damn it. Or
all
19 possibly. We have 19 subscribers.
Hey, look at you go. I'm proud.
I'm proud too.
Thanks,
of course,
guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's been the podcast. See you guys later. Anyways, what else? We watched Princess Mononoke. Yep. I wanted to say a few things about that movie. It came out, I believe, well, Hayao Miyazaki, the director and artist of many of Studio Ghibli's movies that are very, very popular. This is probably his masterpiece. I would say no. This is his second best movie. His first best movie is Spirited Away, for sure.
Spirited Away is so good.
That is, so I think in terms of anime movies, and I do obviously think these movies are top of the upper echelon of movies.
Oh, yeah.
These 3 movies, so there's Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and the Cowboy Bebop movie, all masterclass of anime movies. And also, why are you laughing about the Cowboy Bebop movie? It's so effing good.
I mean, I'm not laughing at
you haven't seen
I'm not laughing at your description. I'm laughing at like the qualification of masterclass movies.
They are absolutely masterclass movies. They are the best movies I've ever seen.
All right.
Go watch those movies, please.
Yeah, they're
Princess Mononoke is about it's about basically
the
world.
Ruining the forest.
Humans ruining the forest, and there are a bunch of gods that are played by a bunch of... I'm sorry. The gods are a bunch of these really ancient animals, and they're all huge. And the English dubbing is actually pretty well done, as Studio Ghibli does put a lot of effort into their English dubbing. So they get a lot of famous actors and actresses to do the voices. For instance, Billy Bob Thornton did the voice in one of the voices in Spirited Away, and so did Jada Pinkett Smith. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me that. Billy Bob was also in Princess Mononoke.
I meant
Princess Mononoke.
That's what I meant. Those two are in Princess Mononoke,
I wonder
not
if
Spirited
he's
Away.
just
Sorry.
a classic for...
No, well, yeah, Billy Bob.
He's our
We're
guy.
making another movie. Go get Billy Bob.
We need him.
Yeah, he's super useful. So I think, and basically it follows the path of Prince Ashitaka. He's the main character in the movie, and he basically he's defending his village. He gets infected by this demon virus that's going to take over his body, and he goes on a quest to find the spirit of the forest, and he finds himself entangled in a war between the humans and the spirit of the forest. And it's a really wonderful movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's beautiful. If you've never seen one of his movies, you should just watch it just for the simple beauty in the colors, and the hand drawn animation is gorgeous.
Right. All of his movies are hand drawn. All the animation is hand drawn, which is why it looks so fluid, and it's never choppy. It's all really well done animation, and the way there's also a documentary about him that we watched on Netflix. I think it's still up there.
Probably.
But basically he won't start making any of the animations for the movie until he has the storyboard done. Obviously, this is standard practice, but the way he does his storyboard is in pictures. So his entire storyboard is in pictures. So he's thinking about the movie completely visually, as I really do think a lot of anime directors and artists do as well, because the one thing I do really like about anime over film is that all the shots are 100% deliberate. So that's why so you really get the sense of what the director's trying to show you, or the cinematographer is trying to show you, as opposed sometimes in film you might accidentally get a shot that you thought was good, but that's not necessarily what the director was thinking. But that I digress. That's what we watched, and we also so go check those movies out.
They're really good.
And I drank last night some Asahi.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty crappy Japanese. It's all right.
It's fine. It was cheap and on sale.
Dirt cheap. Yeah, well, dirt cheap for New York City prices. Yep. We got 24 beers for $20. That's
get at us. We know where a bargain is.
That's less than $1 per can. It's not bad.
It's a good deal.
It's a light beer, I would say. Pretty light beer. Sort of tastes a little bit like water. Yep. Better than Budweiser. I'll give it that. It's called Super. It says Super Dry on the can. Japanese beer has never really been the best beer around. I think of the Asian beers, so China, Korea, and Japan, you don't really think of them for beer. But I guess I would say China has better beer. Tsingtao is palatable. It's not bad. Tsingtao is pretty good. And then I really like in Thailand and Vietnam, Singha is really delicious. That's actually a really good beer. So of the Asian beers, I would go to Thailand. And then in Vietnam, they have Import 70s. It's Import 55, I think, is the name of the beer. Actually, a pretty good beer. Those beers go really well with their cuisine. So that's pretty awesome. They're usually lighter beers that you'll find in hotter places in general. So
I also had one beer last night on my way home. Well, to class from work, because my boss was like, let's go get a beer. And I was like, only if we leave right now and stay for 20 minutes so I can make it to Hunter. And he was like, sounds like a good deal. So we went, grabbed a beer, talked about Ancient Aliens, because it's an amazing program.
Yeah,
and then I got on the subway and went to class. Just a little teeny tiny tipsy, because it makes archaeology just a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know, Nikki, I think that is a perfect segue to this topic of the show. Yes, of course, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite drunk stories. You've already heard some of mine. I'll try to not repeat. I should have re-listened to the podcast to hear what story I was telling then, but I guess I'll tell
some recent ones,
maybe. We'll see. We'll see where we go. I'll leave it to the guests of the show to start us off.
All right.
What is one or two of your favorite drunk stories? Because that's what this is about.
I'm gonna throw it back to one that I might not have told you.
Yeah.
Just college days. I wasn't a huge drinker. I was usually the DD.
You should also tell the one about the flipped over car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That one too. Tell them that after.
Okay, so college Nikki was not a huge drinker.
College-icky?
College-icky? Yeah.
College-icky.
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 Great.
All right.
Fantastic. That's my new name.
Nailed it.
I was at a house party, and I realized that Malibu rum was palatable for me, because I didn't really like beer. I didn't really like a lot of other alcohol. And so, the standard, I don't like to drink college drink.
Get out of the party then. Jesus Christ. I'm kidding.
Malibu
if you don't
rum,
drink, you can still go to parties.
It's perfectly fine. But my friends were just like, you're always driving us, so if you want to drink this party, you should drink.
That's so nice.
They're just trying to reciprocate, basically.
Wow.
And so I had a bottle of Malibu rum all to myself. And I started off the party just having a good time, slowly sipping on my drinks, whatever. And then we got to a game of Flip Cup. And I was like, I'm going to play Flip Cup. I'm going to do this. And
That's
so
a good game.
I played with shots of rum, naturally, because I didn't want to drink beer.
That's a bad way to play that game.
And
Don't play that game like that.
I do not do this. I was anchor for the team for the first 2 games, and I was clinching. I don't know how this happened for me, because I'm never good at any sort of games that involve coordination. And third game, we switch up the round, we switch up everyone's positions, and this kid who I had a really unfortunate relationship with, we'll call, was the anchor now, and he had been kind of flubbing his, his flipping.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I was like,
Get him off the team.
Why is he the anchor? But I was drunk, and I was getting like agitated because, this kid been dick to me, and I was over it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I do mine, I flip, I land, I'm good. Next two people flip, land, good. And then it gets to this little asshole.
Yeah, well, hey.
And he cannot flip his cup and sink it. And we had, of course, made it all or nothing because our team got cocky. We thought we were going to win. So, it comes...
Talk shit, you get shot, Nikki.
Right?
You talk shit,
it was all him, too. He was like...
I'm sure it was. I'm sure
we're going to
be,
we're going to win all or nothing, da-da-da-da. And I was just like, great, sure, like, let me be anchor, because I'm doing it. And everyone's like, yeah, it's fine. And whatever. Fucking, they switch the rotation and whatever. And so this little asshole can't do it. The other team wins. I was so mad. You would think that, like, something tangible was on the line for this moment, because I was just like, I thought I had lost, like, a sports victory or something. Like, in my brain, there was going to be a trophy. I was just really fucking mad that we lost at Flip Cup. And I remember my friend Justin had to, like, just try and, like, console me out of, like, the game, because I had reached an unnecessary level of pissed.
Yeah.
And I just remember I'm outside of the house, like, maybe 5 minutes later, just screaming about how he's horrible at Flip Cup, and he's a stupid person, and he's not good at improv, and, like, when you're drunk and someone, like, jilted you, you just, don't necessarily behave the way you're supposed to. But I think I had maybe, like, a fourth of the bottle of rum, so I hadn't even really had that much in the grand scheme of things.
Just
but
a meager amount.
I was just super pissed and super mad, but I love that story because I was good at Flip Cup once, like one time. Literally every time I've played it since then, I've been trash.
It's a tough game. It's a tough game.
In that one moment, I was a victor until this kid took it all away.
Yeah,
and it just sat with me for a while, It might not be like...
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. It might not be like, oh man, that's a crazy... But for me, it was one of the drunkest times I'd been, for myself at that point. I was maybe 22. Maybe.
Okay.
Might have just a few months after I turned 21. I'm not sure. It might have been before I turned 21. I don't even remember when it happened. But I was real salty. Salty about it. And, that was like one of my first, like, really drunk, like, times.
Yeah.
And so, I enjoy it a little bit. But I would say the story that Julien was whispering to me about, that he wants to hear.
Yes. I want to hear this story again. Oh, my God, sir.
So what happened was I went out with a couple of improv buddies, and I was, I was hanging out with people, and we were having a good time, and we were just, like, drinking and, like, fucking around and being stupid, and we ended up, like, going to one kid's place in Williamsburg, and people were, like, smoking and stuff, and I don't smoke, so I was just, like, hanging back talking to this other kid's friend, and, like, it gets to a point where, like, we're kind of late in the night, and there are no trains going, so this happens for everyone who comes into the city from Long Island. You reach a point in the night where you have to wait, like, 3 hours in Penn Station to catch the next train. And the guys were like, oh, you don't have to do that. Just, like, crash with us, and we'll, like, make sure you wake up in the morning to catch a train back into Long Island. And I was like, all right, cool. Thanks for not making me sit in Penn Station.
Yeah.
Trashed by myself. Because we were just doing, like, we were bar hopping. No, I wasn't paying for my drinks. There's, like, one of these kids just, like, had money and lived at, like, 34th Street and 2nd Ave, which is, like, not a cheap neighborhood.
Oh,
in
no,
case
absolutely not.
In case you guys don't understand,
move there.
it is very expensive to live over there. And it was a bougie-ass building. And so I'm just, like, drunk, passed out. I wake up, I realize, fuck, I've got, like, 5 minutes to make it to the train.
Yeah.
That'll get me home.
That's not gonna happen.
And I, like, run downstairs. The doorman calls me a cab. I get in the cab. I tell the guy, I'm like, get to Penn Station. Like, my train leaves in, like, 10 minutes. And The guy was like, all right. So me and this taxi driver are just like driving along. I'm still very drunk. Like at this, it had only been a few hours since I stopped drinking. I really didn't sleep very well. I was very drunk. And so we're driving along and we're stopped at a red light. And the taxi driver and I both turn to the right because like something is flashing, right? It's like 6 in the morning, 6:32 in the morning or something like that. And so we turn and there is a taxi completely engulfed in flames.
Oh
like,
my God.
There is barely anything left of this car. It's like the hood is gone, the roof is gone.
Makes sense.
Flames are just pouring out of this car. And the driver and I are sitting there. He turns to me and he goes, I'm not staying here. And I was like, fucking drive. So he just runs the red light. And I'm like, thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to make it home. I'm very drunk. There is a taxi that was on fire. This guy just ran a red light.
You're an accomplice.
Like, things are happening. I was afraid that somehow we would get in trouble for the car being on fire. So, really glad if you're watching the video, you see these flames behind me. It's bringing back memories. So.
Yeah.
And
did you just look there to see?
Yeah, I did.
I wanted to actually behind you.
No, I just wanted people watching it to see me look at the flames, for
I
realism.
thought you were looking.
I know what's behind me. It's green.
I know.
So I get to Penn Station, and thankfully, because I'm commuting into the city like 7 days a week, I have a monthly card.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm running down the stairs. The conductor sees me get on the platform and reopens the doors so that I can get on the train because I really was about to miss it.
What a guy.
What a guy, right? What a fucking stand-up guy. He sees this clearly drunk girl probably stumbling running because let's be fair, I think I had 10 drinks over the course of the night and I was probably
enough.
Contact high.
That is enough.
Let's be fair. And I just really wanted to get on the train and get back to Long Island.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I got on the train and I sat down and I was awake. I was doing my best to stay awake for the 45-minute ride.
You're fine.
I fell asleep. Woke up as the doors were closing on my aunt and uncle's stop.
Oh, man.
Got off the train at the next stop. And I realized, I don't have enough money for a taxi home from this spot, so I have to wait and go back and take a taxi home from the other, because I had $5 in cash, and it was a $4.50 taxi ride from Baldwin stop, but it would be a $7 ride from Freeport. So
nice
I had
walk.
No, I couldn't walk from Freeport. It's way too far away.
All right.
So I wait. It's maybe 15 minutes for the train to come back in the other direction. I think it was a Tuesday. Maybe it was a weekend. It was Sunday, I think, maybe Saturday or Sunday or Tuesday. It was one of those days. So I get on the train, go back one stop, get out at the thing. I walk into the taxi station, and it was somebody that I knew working in the taxi station. So here I am, smelling like alcohol, looking like trash, and there's someone that I know going, "Oh, hey, Nikki.
Lucky gal.
You just getting home?"
Yeah.
And then
Sorry.
I had an improv show later that day.
Wow,
so, yeah.
That must have went well. If you want to learn about improv, go ahead and listen to Nikki's first podcast where she tells us about improv.
It's true. So
it's a form of comedy.
I don't even remember what I drank that night. That's how drunk I had gotten. And also the story
sucks.
This is 5 years.
Yeah.
It was pretty much after I moved to the city. So it's been a while.
Damn.
Yep. It was a good time. It was a really good time.
Quite the story.
Yep.
Quite the story. I don't know if I can top it. I've been thinking long and hard this entire time. And I don't have any stories, so the end of the podcast is now.
Oh,
hey,
got them
all.
Got them all.
No,
have you told the time that you ended up
in the hospital?
Yeah.
That's a crazy story that shouldn't be told, but I'll tell it anyways. You guys are ready for it, and you'll learn, and you'll probably immediately stop listening to this. It's a very stupid story. So, I'm an idiot. Set the scene.
How old were you? Where were you living?
I was 24. Must have been. 23?
Yeah. Wasn't that the summer we met? You were still working at the pier.
Sure.
You were 22.
22. Close enough. That is the age of stupidity.
Yeah.
So living in Queens, enjoying my life with my one of my best buds.
Yeah.
He knows who he is if he's listening to this.
What up, brah?
What up, dude? It's actually your birthday today, so we'll see you later on.
Yeah.
But of the day that we're recording this. Anyways, yeah, so we were just hanging out. We're going out to hang out with our friends at a beer garden in Queens. We were always looking to hang out in different places in Queens because we hated going into Manhattan at that point. When you live in Queens, you don't want to leave Queens.
Yeah.
And I
Brooklyn,
still don't want to leave Queens.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Queens. It's a very fun place to live.
Yep.
And there's always something happening. There's always great food to get. Queens is a great borough.
Great area.
But yeah, so we decided to call up all our Queens friends. We go to this beer garden in Astoria, which is actually pretty much just as far away in terms of time as Manhattan is, or Brooklyn. And so we will go ahead and go to this bar because we're like, oh man, it's Queens, we're gonna have a good time. So the time passes, we drink our drinks, and yeah, no big deal. We're having our brews. Nothing really notable about the night except the fact that we're drinking outside at a picnic table. That's pretty cool.
But that's a beer garden. Every beer garden.
They're
like
large
that.
mugs. I'm not sure if many people have been to beer gardens. We're lucky to have them in the city.
True.
We're lucky to have them in the city, and obviously they're all over Germany, I assume, and Austria, but and probably Europe in general. Mm-hmm. Or yeah, that's probably.
And maybe in the Midwest. If you're in the Midwest, I feel like you'd have a beer garden.
Yeah, I mean, look, people know what they are now. If not, just Google it. You'll probably get a blonde woman with the braids.
Wearing that like
called?
Classic.
Yeah, what are they called? That sort of attire.
Oh, it's
it's German.
They call it like the beer maid, like a barmaid outfit, like but
Lederhosen. Lederhosen, that's the name.
But like, yeah, they're never gonna
isn't that for a guy? Lederhosens. Aren't those pants?
Yeah, but like it's the aesthetic. I don't know.
Lederhosen is a place.
Yeah, but like
yeah, they're leather breeches.
Right, but like the female outfit is like kind of like aesthetically similar. Like
it's
the
not
top
the
part.
Pants, I guess it's...
The top part has that kind of like. Yeah.
Those are so funny. Go look up Lederhosens.
Like hosen is pants and
leather
is leather.
That.
So like,
yeah, it's just leather pants, but they're shorts.
Oh, yeah.
And guys are supposed to wear them. Anyways,
yeah.
The point is, we were wearing our Lederhosen, going to drink our brews, all that stuff, having our lagers.
Yeah.
Now we've gone Irish.
Yeah, that was a little off.
Getting our stouts, having our Irish beer. Sure. Guinness is very good. It's Bavarian. That's what Lederhosens are. Anyways, they're not German. Well, that's technically German. Anyways, so my friend and I leave, and we're going home. We're heading home, and we've decided we're still having a lot of fun. We're like having a good time. Hey man, what's up?
We're
pretty
like
drunk.
22, 23.
We actually, to be honest with you, we weren't like. I wasn't gonna be incredibly hungover the next morning. I wasn't that drunk. We were just gonna head home, and we were just hyped for some reason. I don't know.
Wasn't the train
we just
coming?
had a good time. We just had a good time, and we were waiting for the train, the Ye Olde R train, at the station, and we decide, you know what? We're pretty hyped today. Let's go to the end of the station, and let's have a little fun. And so we decide, here, we're going to race from the end of the station, from the front of the station to the end of the station, and the mark of when we will go is when the train starts coming. So this is, by the way, the worst possible idea you can ever fucking have in your life.
Do not run on train platforms.
Not do this.
Especially when the train is pulling into the fucking station.
This is probably the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life, and I'm telling to the internet. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll live up to my own mistakes. I'm still who I am, and no one can stop me. And yeah, so 3, 2, 1, the train comes and we're going. Mm-hmm. And so my friend's obviously like a foot and a half taller than I am, maybe like
Most
because
of his
I'm
friends
short
are,
as fuck.
actually.
So he's got the longer strides, and I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna beat this guy? Oh shit! And people are pretty much are getting up from the seats to walk towards the edge of the platform to get to the train.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having to dodge in and out of people, and like, oh shit. I'm gonna lose. I don't want to fucking lose. I don't lose to this kid. He's trash. Don't. You're not trash. Don't worry about it.
No, he's not trash. He's
I swear
quality
to God,
person. Quality
dude,
person.
you're not.
Love
Quality
you.
person. He probably won't listen to this.
It's
Anyways, so I'm like, all right, this is split second decision here. I'm gonna weave through. So in New York City, we have basically these steel beam pillars that go up and hold the ceiling up on
Which
the train.
is the street
platform,
above
right?
you. Literally
Yeah,
the
pretty
street.
much.
It's
Well,
being
there's
held up.
more than just
Yeah,
there's anyways, so they're basically not staggered. They're just in a line and they go up and there's space in between them. So and then there's a little bit more space that has like what is that called? Grip.
It's textured so
Textured
that
grip.
it's an ADA compliance
Yeah.
thing, so that blind people will be able to
Right,
tell the
I
difference.
know. Yeah,
between
right.
The two.
So there's the platform that you stand on. There's seats on the left side. If we're looking down the platform, right?
Mhm. Set the
Seats on
scene.
the left side. Platform about
10 to 15.
no. I'd probably say 10 feet of space before the pillars.
Mhm.
Then the pillars go up.
Mhm.
They hold up the ceiling. There's space in between the pillars vertically and that sort of stuff. Then there's a little bit. There's probably like 2 to 3 feet of room
Mhm.
between the pillars and then the tracks. So, and that's where that textured stuff is. Although that stuff doesn't even matter at this point. So I'm like, oh man, split second decision because I'm drunk. I'm a fucking weave in through that and start running down that sort of the 2 to
most
3 feet.
dangerous spot.
The most dangerous spot in the train station, pretty much, besides the third rail and the tracks. So I'm gonna weave in and I'm gonna take off and beat my friend because I'm so fast. And so I basically make that decision a split second too late. I swerve in. I'm in between the pillars right now. And then I run. I must have hit. This is probably a problem. I don't know. This is where it gets fuzzy. So I knock myself out, essentially. I run into the pillar.
Is that what happened? I thought
That's
you
what
slipped.
happened. I ran into the pillar.
Okay. So
No, I assure you, I
miscalculated.
ran into the pillar.
Miscalculated.
Yeah, and very, very miscalculated. So I basically run head on to the pillar and then fall back. And I knocked myself out, basically. Because when I woke up, I was on the ground, laying on the ground, and the train was still next to me. And oh my god! And they called the cop. They called the ambulance in, and basically, and then I looked up and I could see the ceiling, and this is the only time I've ever been knocked out. So it's a very bizarre and surreal thing.
It's really uncomfortable.
You basically, I don't know, you've been knocked out. Yeah. So basically, you remember the last thing you remember before you get knocked out. The last thing I remember was making that decision. Then I wake up. I get a flat. I'm like, oh, the ceiling's there. I look to the right. The train's there. I can hear the hum of the train. And I think my friend was by me because obviously he's being a good friend. And and then the next thing I remember was being pulled off on a stretcher up the stairs. So yeah, so I must have blanked out a little bit. And then I was being pulled up the stairs. And then I was being put into the ambulance. And so holy shit, I essentially knocked myself out because I was drunk. And then I was in the oh yeah, so what they do, I mean, this is standard procedure for EMT guys. They have to check, because I got knocked out, they have to check if I'm paralyzed or anything, because they had a general idea of how I got injured. I knocked myself out. Luckily, I'm not paralyzed at all. I'm super fine. This is great. Mm-hmm. And thank God I didn't die.
Right.
Because this is probably it.
You could have slipped and fallen.
I could have ran into the train.
Right.
I could have killed myself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I am so thankful to be alive right now, and
Yep.
doing this thing. But anyways, the standard procedure is they actually have to check a part of your legs, but I was wearing long pants, so they had to cut my pants. So they cut my pants leg in half, both legs in half, and so they could check I guess it's my thigh or something that they have to check, or maybe part of my leg, just to see if there's blood flowing to it and these sorts of things. It's standard procedure for them. But unfortunately, it was one of my favorite pairs of pants. So that pair of pants in the trash right now.
R.I.P. pants.
R.I.P. rip pants. And then basically they gave me painkiller, checked if I had a concussion. They said I didn't somehow. I must have hit my forehead.
You're lucky because being drunk made you actually not as rigid. So if you were sober, you would have hit it harder and your head would have reverbed more.
Yeah,
but by being drunk, that's why drunk people often survive accidents and not sober people, is because you don't have that reaction to tense up.
Well, luckily, I don't drive.
Right. So let me pick up the story for you.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Okay.
Anyways, pick up the
where
story.
I heard it from.
Here. Get out of here. Yeah. I gotta tell them. I gotta tell the people what happened to me. All right.
So his pants got cut.
Pants got cut. Basically have these lederhosens on, but they're lederhosens. Basically, So I mean they still kept the cloth and everything. So if I stood still, it looked like I was wearing pants. Yeah. But if I'm walking, I'm wearing lederhosens basically, and with long tassels on them, and so they basically take care of me and all that stuff. And it's 5 a.m. at this point, 5 or 6 a.m, and luckily, when we were living in Queens, we lived right around the corner from the hospital. So I basically walked home with my friend, and I had a pretty bad pain in my back actually, which persisted for the next week, I think. But no permanent damage. I'm perfectly fine. Yeah. I think it was just like a muscle ache, essentially. Yeah. And so I, at that point, was working at Pier 25 in Manhattan, flipping burgers and the like at the mini golf course. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a great place. Super cheap, super chill.
I don't know if it's that cheap anymore, but it was cheap when I was working there. Anyways, mini golf in Manhattan is very cool. I was working there and had a lot of fun, and so I decided, you know what? I'm not a little bitch. I'm going to work because I want to make that cash, because I was trying to save up money to buy a computer at that point. I didn't want to skimp on work because those are my hours, I don't have that much money. So, and I really wanted, at this point, I think I was getting this computer, not the current computer I have, but the computer I started my super sick streaming career off of, and YouTube career that's still going strong like 3 or 4 years later on a new YouTube channel. But yeah, so I saved up a lot of money with this job to get a computer in order to do this essentially. And I guess it's paid off, not really at all. But now we're at this point. So I went to work, and I guess you want to pick up.
Where I learned about
no
what
sleep.
happened.
I got no sleep, but I went to work because I'm not a little bitch.
So
not a little bitch.
This is actually the first time I've heard the complete story, because
now you know.
Julien, being the cherub that he is.
Cherub?
I asked him, I'm at the current job that I have now, and I text Julien, I'm like, oh, what's going on? How are you? And he's like, oh, my back kind of hurts. And I'm like, why? And so he tells me, oh, I may have gotten hurt. And I was like, okay, what happened? And it takes maybe 5 or 6 texts before he tells me what the fuck actually happened.
I'm fine. You're fine. It's all fine. We're all fine, all right?
And I don't know.
I ain't no bitch.
I mean, I'm sure
didn't hurt at all.
we could probably talk about it another day, but I have some anxiety problems. So Julien tells me he fell and got hurt.
Anxiety podcast.
We'll call it Anxiety Cast. Julien got hurt, and I'm just thinking, you have a concussion, you shouldn't be at work, you're lifting, like, large, heavy things.
Nah,
like,
I wasn't lifting anything.
well, I know, but, like, the way the pier was, you had sodas and stuff
Yeah.
that you could have been responsible for moving. But my brain immediately goes to, like, there's permanent damage, and he's being a stupid
Probably
idiot.
is.
Because and all he cared about was the fact that his pants got cut.
Dude, those pants were dope. Oh my god, they were my lederhosen.
This kid,
my favorite pair of lederhosen.
this fucking kid, fucking nearly dies on a subway platform, drunk in the middle.
All right. Look, the best way to go about these life-changing instances is to be a little lighthearted, all right? You had a pair of lederhosens. They got a little wrecked, and, you know, you get another pair of lederhosens. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that was my crazy story. Let me think. Can I think of another one off the top of my head? I guess the first time I ever threw up from drinking. Of course, not the only time. Although I haven't done it very recently. Or recently within the past 2 years. I know you have. I've cleaned that up. Clean up that mess too often. The first time I ever threw up drinking was because I was drinking underage.
Don't do
but
that.
I was in the safety of my parents' home and with my friends, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was one of my friends' birthdays. It was his birthdays around, and we were in college, so we must have been 19 or so. And we were all home for Thanksgiving, and his birthday happened to fall the weekend after Thanksgiving, or the weekend of Thanksgiving, whatever, that Saturday. Basically, people were all busy and such, so we never really get to hang out when his birthday falls in this particular week. And so we decided that we were all going to hang out, the four of us, and we were going to raid my mother and father's liquor cabinet because it's someone's birthday. So so we had, and my mom and my dad have procured quite the collection of liqueurs and liquor and alcohol in their liquor cabinet because my mom was a chef, and so she decided to buy a lot. She uses a lot of liquors and liqueurs to flambe a bunch of things. So she had a bunch of different types of various flavored liquors. So we looked up a lot of drinks that we can make, and this is probably the fanciest night of my life because we had a lot of different cocktails that we made with all these liqueurs. Very expensive liquors. No, they weren't very expensive. They're just not your typical thing that you would think of. Oh, I'm gonna do a shot of vodka. Oh, I'm gonna do a shot of rum. No, we were talking about amaretto.
Yeah, they're making like classy fucking cocktails. Getting just
we made a milk drink. We had some brandy. It's just a bunch of things that you wouldn't typically think of when you're in college to drink. Basically, a bunch of liqueurs, like what's it called? Chartreuse. Like no college kids drinking that. Anyway, so I mean I'm lucky I've ever tried that. I guess it was all right. So we basically and this is the danger of drinking hard liquors. It doesn't, when it hits you hard, right? You're not walking. Basically, you're getting dizzy real fast, and it hits you real fast.
Especially at that age, when you haven't really drank that much.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to drink still, but basically, if you don't drink hard liquor and you're thinking about it, you gotta take it slow, all right? You have to take it slow. Drink lots of water. And your body takes an incredibly long time to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna remain drunk for a very long time as well. And because it's such a little quantity of volume of water or of liquid that you're drinking, you're like, oh, I can have some more. It's just a little bit, but it's actually quite a lot.
Yeah, don't.
So be very careful with hard liquors. That's how people get alcohol poisoning. Usually not from beer, unless you're in college. It's usually from hard liquor because they drank too much. It's very fast process. So I try to stay away from hard liquor in general. I like beer more, but I do like The thing is, I love cocktails, like a very nicely made cocktail, except you usually get, 12 ounces of that, and then you want another one.
Right.
But it had such
$15
it's a
fucking
lot,
dollars
yeah.
later, you're just like, fuck
It's
this.
a lot of money, and also I drink things quickly. I'm not just specifically talking about alcohol. I drink water very quickly. I drink juice quickly. I don't drink juice. I drink tea quickly.
Yeah.
And this is why I hate hot drinks.
He just wants to finish his
Because
drink
I
immediately.
like to finish my drinks.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. That's just a thing. Maybe a nervous habit. I don't know. So we made a bunch of drinks. This is the only time I've ever lit a shot on fire. We did a flaming shot.
Holy shit.
We put hot sauce in shots. We drank a lot. I don't even know if we drank a lot. Let me be honest. We drank
You drank enough as
to
like
make
little
me throw
babies.
up. You know what? It was probably the amount of time that we drank it in. Anyways, so two of my friends left. One of my friends was gonna stay over because he lived pretty far away at the time, and I walking back. We walked. We were having a good time. My friend's birthday. We were having a good time, and it was summer. Oh no, it was actually just. We might have just been super drunk. We were like, oh, you know what? The best thing to do is to get some fresh air.
Right, because if it's
And so we
Thanksgiving in New York,
walked,
it's chilly.
Yeah,
it's
but I don't
brisk.
think it was that cold
Yeah.
that Thanksgiving. So we walked my friends to the train station, and then my friend and I were walking back to my place, and I was like, whoop, I can barely walk straight. Oh, I feel horrible now. Oh, God. Is this what it feels like? And so I puked all over the ground, and yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Puking in the middle of the street. I don't know
Sucks.
what time it was. Must have been 3 a.m. or something. So not many people on the street, luckily.
Yeah.
And luckily no cops were there. And so that was quite it. That was quite a night. Basically, I did it. At least I did in the safety of my parents' home. But
Yeah.
I don't condone underage drinking. I'm kidding. Look, might as well learn it while you're safe. Just make sure you're safe. If you're gonna drink underage,
be safe.
just be responsible.
Don't drive. Don't get in a car
yeah.
with somebody who's been drinking. Like if they're gonna, it's just not worth it. Like you don't know how many people I know from high school who are dead now because of drinking and driving, and I just. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
No, I mean,
ever.
I was fortunate enough to live in New York City,
New York is different.
where you don't have to drive ever. So, and I can always get home, and I'm usually with a group of friends, so there's always safety in numbers, obviously, and that sort of shit.
Exactly. Like you don't want to get trash drunk by yourself and like not have someone there to make sure you're okay and you're getting home okay.
No, but I've actually always been the person to help someone else out. So I don't normally get that drunk. Obviously, these are the few times I wasn't. Honestly, the night I got knocked out, I was not that drunk. I was just being hype as fuck. I was not. All right, Nikki. I was just being hype as fuck, trying to have fun with one of my friends. All right.
I know.
Anyways, my lederhosens are gone. It's
Those
October
poor lederhosens.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I think we've exhausted.
I will say though.
Maybe yeah.
I had the original formula for Loco.
Oh yeah.
And you're all
That's
very
the good
lucky
stuff.
that it doesn't exist
That's
anymore.
Yeah.
Oh boy, was that a night?
Yeah.
That's another time story. Though.
Yeah,
that
maybe
one's...
we'll if we don't have a podcast topic, maybe we'll tell more stories because there are many stories to tell.
Right.
While drunk, we've been alive for that long. I guess.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say I've been drinking now for a while.
Yeah, tell us in the comment section below or tweet at us your favorite drunk stories, or if you
like just crazy nights that you've had with your friends.
crazy nights with your friends. That we'd love to share.
That stuff.
If you don't mind, we will share them on the topic, or you can email if you want to send us a longer novel, perhaps. Email us at gaminghungover@gmail.com. Of course, Nikki, we always end our podcast in a song in a segment.
I know you got
called Hungover Radio. Of course, I picked the song because
you didn't even ask me.
Yeah, we started recording, and then I realized that we needed a song, and I don't like editing too many things because I am still editing, Yvonne. You fucko. I'm fucking editing everything.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do some work
Yvonne,
for your channel.
You fucko.
Jackass.
Come back.
Anyways.
We miss you.
Yeah, come back.
Please.
He'll be back. He's probably not listening to this. He doesn't listen to our content. What a jackass. Anyways, yeah, so we end our song in a segment called Hungover Radio. Now, you can send in your music to Hungover Radio. It will be played your music will be played in the audio portion to avoid copywriting, and then we'll, of course, link it in the YouTube description below. But because I get to choose songs that won't give us copyright nonsense, because I'm going to be picking some video game music. And if you don't like it, you should send in your music. It's free advertisement. Your music being a song you wrote, co-produced, played an instrument on, etc., sang in, or maybe one of your friends. Again, it's free advertisement for you. And we want the community to listen to your music. Be really cool if we could, and we'd love to listen to your music too.
Yeah.
So today I've picked a song called One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII.
Of course.
Of course, we are playing through this game on this channel, Yvonne is anyways. We just uploaded a really fun Let's Play part. Of course, we've only done 4 parts of it. The 5th one should be going up soon. It might already be up by the time you're listening to this. But anyways, this is the song that plays when you're fighting against Sephiroth in the end of the game. It's a really cool song. This game was revolutionary in many ways in terms of the JRPG franchise, Final Fantasy, and I think it should go down in history as one of the most influential games of all time. But I digress. This song is really cool. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm Julien. You can follow me on Twitter at JujuBsGood. You can follow us on Twitter at Gaming Hungover. Of course, all this information is on the description below. And you are
Nikki.
Nikki
TV.
To follow you?
Sure.
Well,
Find me on Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tumblr, whatever.
It's in the description below.
I'm there.
We'll do that. So tweet at us if you have any questions, or maybe a topic, perhaps. But I hope you guys enjoy the song. Peace out.